Kia ora koutou. Welcome to our Learning Story webinar. My name is Candice. I'm the trader here at Discover. And this morning I'm going to be taking you through how you can create some fun and some interesting learning stories on Playground Web. So we do have posts available on the app version of Playground. So I'm going to be leaving posts alone for today, and I'm going to be focusing us more on documents, canvas, and tables, the three features that are available on Playground Web. So I'm going to dive right in, and we will go straight into documents. Now, when we think about a learning story, it's one of those things that it's not really hard and fast, is it, and exactly what your requirements are. So we do kind of have that structure of notice, recognize, respond. But aside from that, it's kind of up to the individual how you want it to look. So if we pop in here into new document, we can go blank. And that gives us a blank page, which is great possibility, but also a little intimidating because what can we put here? But what I would say to use documents for is if you've got a learning story, or if you've seen something or done, had an experience with one of the children in your care that is going to be quite involved in terms of the amount that you need to write. If you're going to be doing a lot of typing, a lot of analysis, a lot of following up, documents is a really good place to do a learning story. And even though it isn't as bright and as colourful as your tables and canvas, which I'll show us in a few minutes, it's still we can still make it look nice and fun. So I'm going to start us up the top with a title. One of the things that I always say when you start with anything new in Playground is create a title for it, and don't make it something generic like learning story, because otherwise you're going to end up with 500 learning stories and you're not going to be able to tell which one's which. So let's go learning story or Matilda, or term 3 learning story. Just make it sort of easy to identify in some way. And I'm going to start typing into my document. It's sort of like a Word document in its appearance. So I've started typing, and I'm going to turn this into a heading. So I'm going to come to my drop down here, and I'm going to center it to make it look pretty. Now, because I'm a very visual person, and I think most of us as teachers are quite visual people, what I want to do is come in here, and in our content bar there, if I pop in, I can see these options: collage, image, video. I'm going to drag and drop a collage in there, and that's going to give me a nice structure to drop some photos in. So if you've taken some photos of the child during this experience, or during the observation that you've made of them, you can pop them in here. So what we're going to do next is drag and drop the image over. So we'll pop that in there. And now this media widget here, this is going to show you any photo that has been uploaded in Playground previously, and that includes photos that were posted from the app via posts. So I always say when you're sort of doing your programming and planning, you want to start with posts in the app. It's a great way to get things out there quickly, and it also means that you've got your photos in the web version. You don't have to go digging through your cloud or your files or anything. You don't have to do any transferring onto your computer. So, I mean, you can upload from your computer up the top there if you want to. But if you've posted your photos via post in the app before, or if you've put them somewhere else in Playground, they'll be here for you to use. So I'll select this one for now. And then we can drag and drop some others over here if we want to. I think make it look really nice. So we could drop a few more in there. And then what you can do is, and it's entirely up to you how you'd like to do this, but you could type one great big long paragraph. You can just go for broken here and type everything out. Personally, I like to keep things nice and structured. So I'm just going to go with the Notice, Recognize, Respond format here, and I'm going to create headings out of these. So, excuse me. There we go. I just made a little mistake there. I accidentally deleted my collage, which I don't want to do. So, yeah, I like to keep things nice and structured. So I'll create my little second heading there. And you can choose your different sizes. And then when I come underneath, I can just return back to normal text. I won't type a whole lot in here just in the interest of time. And I might do my second heading there. So I'm going to use heading 2 because it's a little, so we've got heading 1 up there, and then I've used heading 2 just to differentiate between the two. Now, what can be kind of nice is even though you're sort of typing throughout documents and you don't have a whole lot of creative freedom in here, but you can still make it look really nice. So we've got our collage up there where I can put 3 different photos, but you can also put your photos in. If you just, instead of dragging collage in, if you want to just drag and drop an image in at any point, you can dot some photos throughout the learning story. Just to sort of maintain a little bit of interest as the family is having a look in home. So on the home app, they'll be able to see this. We can print it out if that's something else that you would like to do. There's my third heading. So you can go through, type everything out. Now, if at any point, because when we're sort of talking about posts, which are sort of like your shorter, quick, get them out, get them done sort of feature of Playground. Whereas documents, you might be writing something that's a little bit longer, or you might have something that's kind of ongoing. So what you can do is save it as a draft. You don't have to tag anyone. It won't go out to the families just yet. You can just leave it there for now. So the next time that you come into Playground and you jump into documents, there it is there, learning story for Matilda. And we'll click on our little 3-dot menu there and go to edit. And you can just keep going with it. So every time you save it as a draft, it'll just update. And only when you're ready do you, can you sort of click that I mean, honestly, if you click on Publish to Parents and you haven't got any children tagged, the family still won't see it. But when you are ready for the family to see it, what we can do is click on Children. And we can drag and drop children into the document individually. So if I drag Alfalfa across here, there he is there. That just means that Alfalfa's family, parents or guardians, actually can now see this once I hit Publish to Parents. If you're doing like a big group type of learning story, you can do multiple children. You can click on that Tag All Children There button, drag that over and drop it in, and that'll tag everybody. Or you can go through this list and you can kind of pick and choose. So if you want to go, oh, maybe I don't want Amanda, or, Briar Rose wasn't here today, or Dash wasn't, you can kind of click those little X buttons as needed. So if we go with that sort of Notice, Recognize, Respond type of format, and you're doing a lot of typing, If there's anything else that you have created, maybe a post or another document or something that is relevant to this particular learning story, you can drag and drop those in. So if we have a look on the left-hand side there, I click on posts, all the posts that I've created previously will be there. And I can drag and drop those in. And we get that little preview of it there. So if that's relevant, you can pull that in as well. And that way you can kind of see the cycle of planning and you can see the references. And it's sort of a holistic perspective. Important to note here, when we're talking about tagging or dragging and dropping in other pieces of work that you have created elsewhere in Playground, whoever is tagged here, so you can see in my document down the bottom, I've got everybody tagged. If these children are not tagged in the post or the canvas or whatever else it is that you pull in here to reference, the family is not going to be able to see all of this. They're not going to be able to click on it, save the photos, anything like that. They'll see a reference to it, but for privacy reasons, they won't be able to access any further details. Okay. So I'm going to just move on from documents for now because it's perhaps not the most exciting. It is a really functional place to do a lot of detail and typing, but it's not the most exciting to look at. So I'll move us on. If you've got any questions about documents, just pop them in the Q&A. You should see a box at the top of Teams. Just pop them in there and I can answer those at the end of the session. So once again, I'm going to save my draft. And next, I'm going to move us down into tables. So tables, definitely a fan favorite, very easy to use, and you can make it look really pretty as well. So I'm going to click on New Table. And tables is really good if you would like something that is going to be a little bit more structured. So I'll click on Blank. Now, a lot of people kind of look at tables and go, oh, maybe this isn't necessarily a place that I would do a learning story, but I humbly disagree. I think there's a really great way to do these. So jump into your cells. This is like the world's friendliest Excel spreadsheet without all the maths and the coding and all that sort of thing. So if I'm going to create a learning story for a child, you know, I'm going to do this for one particular child. Needs learning stories with an S. So if you want to sort of compile your learning stories for children in one place, you could have an entire table dedicated to just one child if you wanted to. Or, you know, if you have a room, you could even have a table for all of the learning stories for a particular room. There's no right or wrong way to do this. But for now, I'm just going to type up my cells there and I'm going to use my headings. And I'm going to use my Notice, Recognize, Respond format as well. But you can make your headings whatever you would like them to be. Again, no right or wrong. So I'm going to center them too because I think that'll look nice. Now, because we don't want just a great big wall of black and white, difficult to read text, what I'm going to do is color these cells. So if we come up to our little color palette up the top here, just going to give them a little bit of color so we can differentiate the headings. There we go. All right, so we've got our headings. Next, if you're doing a whole bunch of learning stories in one place, because these are living documents, you can always come back, you can publish this to the family so they can see the learning story. And then you can come back in, edit it and publish it again and everyone will get the updated version. So this can be a great place if you just want a one-stop shop for all of your learning stories for one particular child or even a room. So let's put teacher's name and date. And we can kind of copy that and paste it into each of the cells. So anytime you come in here, it's fresh and it's ready to go. I'm actually going to bold that so that I can clearly see the difference. 6th of November is our date. Can you believe it's the 6th of November? What happened to our year? Where's it gone? Goodness me. All right. So in here, you might again start typing, and you can change these to be a little bit wider if you would like, or a little bit shorter. Again, no right or wrong way. In the garden, I do a lot of garden type themes in my work in Playground. And then again, we've got, it's just like in documents on the side there, we've got our content, and I'm going to drag and drop an image in because I love color. I love pictures. I want to document with, you know, sort of like an aesthetically pleasing style. So we can pop our photos in there. If you've got videos, you can pop them in here as well. And again, if there's anything that you want to refer to, actually, I'm just going to click on my little plus button here to add a row. And I'm going to put related in here, actually. And we chose heading 4. Yep. Center that one. Give it my nice color there. And then I can come in the side and again, reference any other work that I've created previously that might be related to this particular learning story. So when I publish this, even though we can only see that little reference there, when I publish this, any families that are tagged in this overall table that have also been, whose children have also been tagged in this post that I've referenced, they can then click on that post. It'll open up for them in the Playground app, and they can read that as well. And similarly, tagging children. Again, it's just like documents. You drag and drop into one of the cells. And same goes with your outcomes. So if I pop into outcomes there, I'm just going to switch this over to Tafariki. If you're really super familiar with Tafariki, you can even type in your principles or your strands. And actually, if you, this is amazing, you could search for them. If you know them off by heart, and you would be, and you're the kind of person that would search for a strand, a specific outcome, rather than going through with these drop downs and dragging and dropping them in, please let me know in the Q&A. I have been trying to find someone who knows Tafariki off by heart. We'll drag and drop that in, and that will reference the particular strand or principle. Okay, so again, what we can do is just save it as a draft if we want to, or if I click on Publish to Parents now, Art's parents, parents or guardians are going to see this. So I've published it. They can leave comments on it through home as well, which is really nice. Now I'm just going to close out of it. And if I want to do another learning story for Art later, I can always come back in. And oh, look, I've I've done it. Untitled table. I didn't put a title in, which was silly of me. So I'm going to click on my edit button. Leaves learning stories. There we go. I can add in extra photos. I can do more learning stories. I can just add bits and pieces in and update it and republish it. And now the tagged children will get it'll show up the updated version on home. Similarly, and this is one of the things that I come across as a trainer very, very often is like a hesitance in Playground Web, like what if I make a mistake? And trust me, I get where everyone is coming from with that, because it's, if you click on publish to parents, it goes to the parents. What if you've put in a typo or typed the wrong thing or done something, that you didn't mean to do? Don't panic. Whatever you do, don't panic, because if you've published something to the family and you go, oh my gosh, I didn't mean to do that yet, or, oh, it's not ready. What you do, you come in, click your pencil edit button, and you can just delete. You can delete the tags. That was just a backspace on my keyboard. You can remove the children. So if I jump into children, I can just see, I can use that little tagged children toggle. No children found. I've removed the tags. And then what you're going to do is republish. Now, when it's a bit of it's a funny thing, right? Because it says publish to parents, but when there's no children tagged, you're not actually publishing to your families. If you've sent this out previously to families and you go, oops, nope, need to do more work on it, remove the children, republish it, and it will withdraw it from home. They won't be able to see it. Or if it's a smaller mistake, you can leave the tag in there and just make the changes that you need to make. So if I go, oh, I didn't mean to put that photo in there, just delete it using your keyboard, republish. And they'll get the updated version. They will no longer see the old version of it. So if you start to worry, please don't. It can be fixed. It can be fixed. So we are really blasting through time here. I wish I had an hour for this, actually. Please post any questions in the Q&A if you've got them. I'm going to move us on to Canvas, our last feature in Playground for now. My personal favorite, everyone's got a favorite in Playground. This is mine. I love Canvas. So jumping into new Canvas. Now you've got your templates there, and you can create some really intricate stuff on Canvas. You can go all out if you want to. Like, this is one that I created as a template for everybody. But trust me when I tell you, no matter what you see, what other centers have created, whatever's on the layouts that are existing, you don't have to make something this big. You really don't. This is a huge, elaborate canvas, and when you're sort of starting out with it for the first time, it doesn't need to look like this. It doesn't. It can eventually, with time and practice, you can create some really cool, big, elaborate projects. But when we're talking about a learning story, and if you're kind of new to Canvas, let's just start really simple. So I'm going to go new Canvas. I'm going to go blank. And along the left here, I've got my menu. I'm going to start with shapes. Have a think about the theme of your learning story. What are you documenting? What are you creating? What did you see the child doing? I'm going to go back to my garden example again. And I'm just going to use a leaf. So you scroll through here, drag and drop your shapes in. Using these little circles on the side, you can adjust the size. I'm going to, I'll put a couple of leaves in. You can move them around, just click, hold and drag. My circle in there. Zoom out, zoom in. This is a big space, by the way. This is like 6, if you printed it out, it can be like 6 A4 size sheets of paper. It can be really big. So clicking on my shape, go to the color palette up the top here, because again, most of us are very visual, being teachers. We love a bit of color, and I always feel a bit better about a project when I just splash some color on the page first, So I've got my circle, I've got my leaves, and see how my little stem is kind of going behind my circle there? I don't really want that to happen, so I'm going to use these little arrow buttons, and I can change the layers. Same with this guy. I'm going to pull him up to layers. I can pull him down. And now this is really cool. Click on your shape, go to your color palette, and you've got this opacity slider down the bottom, and this can look so pretty when you start layering things. See how I can change the opacity there? Change the color of that one as well. Cute. So that's the start of our learning story. It doesn't have to be big. What I'm going to do next is Let's come into content, and I'm going to drag and drop some text in. Put in a header, learning story. I'm going to drag and drop that into my little leaf there. And you can see it's gone behind the leaf. So I'm going to pull it up through the layers. There we go. Learning story. Now I'm going to drag another bit of text in. And here we can start typing. And you can see there I've gone, my little box has sort of started to give me a scroll button. If you don't want the scroll button, just make the shape bigger. And we can then fit that into that little circle there. Had a wonderful time. If you need to, you can change your font size as well. There we go. So we'll put that in there. You can keep typing. And what I'm going to do now, and this is a cool little trick I like to show everybody, I'm just going to drag another little circle in there. And I'm going to come down to documents. Don't let this section confuse you. It confused me when I first started. Documents means everything. It means documents, canvas, tables, and posts. So if you've got a post that has a picture, so like this one here, if I drag and drop that into this circle, the circle fills up with the picture that was the first picture that was put on that post or that document, etc. And like I showed you in tables, families can click on that and it'll open up the other piece of work that you've made. Or if you just want to keep it really simple, if you go back into content, you can drag and drop your images in like we did before. And you can do a collage. You know, you don't have to type a lot in this one. You can just do a big, beautiful collage if you want to. No right or wrong way. But the thing that I really want you to take from this is it doesn't have to be big and elaborate. It can just be super simple. And sometimes that's really effective. You know, so don't be intimidated by Canvas. A lot of people are. Don't be. Just start small with it. Create a collage, put a couple of shapes in. Don't make it harder than it, you know, don't make it hard for yourself by trying to do something big and elaborate when you first start. Just go simple. And now quickly, children and outcomes. So again, it's like that drag and drop situation for the rest of Playground. What we're going to do this time though is you've got a couple of options. So you can drag and drop children onto the canvas and it'll bring up their little photo if they've got one in their profile. Or if you don't want a whole lot of extra photos sort of hanging around the outside of your canvas, I'm just going to click on my little bin icon there. What you can do is drag and drop children into shapes. And now at first, it's going to look like they disappear. But if we click on that leaf there, we can see the tag for Alfalfa. So we know he's tagged. His family are going to see this if they log into home on the web. So you can do that with your outcomes too. And it's just a way of keeping it really neat and tidy so you don't have a whole lot of outcomes and children and stuff laying all over the canvas. I mean, you can, you know, if you want to do a design with that, that's great. But if you want to hide them a little bit more and just make it about the colors and the photos, drag and drop them into a shape. Okay. Now I have really cut it very close to the line here. So please pop any questions that you might have about Playground and creating learning stories in Playground in the Q&A and I'll answer them. And let me know if you'd like to do another one of these. Before we go, I'll refer you to our Pinterest. So Discover does have a Pinterest. So if you want to copy that link there, I'll actually, you know what? I'll pop it in our chat there if you want to copy and paste that link. This can be a great place to get some inspiration if you're just sort of starting out for the first time. Come in and have a look in here. We've got documents, we've got Canvas, we've got tables, all different things that you can try if you would like to. All right, last chance for any questions. If you've got them, pop them in the Q&A. Otherwise, I will see you next time.